Hello my dear students, in this video we are going to continue with chapter number 7 called classes and objects. Let us have introduction. In the previous chapter we have already learned the basic concepts of object oriented program, and here in this particular chapter we are going to study those important characteristics of object oriented program, that is classes and objects. In the real world, the entities are nothing but they are the data members in a computer domain, and those domains can be processed by the functions. Let us take the data members such as account number, balance payment, employee code, so on. So all these data can be processed by functions. So here account number can be updated, so that is nothing but it is processed by the function, and even the balance payment can be manipulated, so that is computed. So this is also nothing but it's a operation performed by the function. We have already studied the combining the data elements into a single unit called structures. So structure is one of the user defined data types. Here in this particular chapter we are going to study the another type of user defined data type, that is class. So here class consisting of both data members as well as function members that operates on data. Now let us see the terminologies used in procedural programming and object oriented programming. In procedural programming, variables; in object oriented programming we call it as objects. User defined data types, and here we call them as classes. Next, structure variables are called as instance variables, and functions are called as methods, and here function call is called as message passing in object oriented programming language. Now we'll study definition and declaration of classes and objects. So let us continue with the syntax. Here we are going to write class and user defined name, curly open brace, and then we are going to write private colon, then member data, then member function, then we'll write public colon, member data and member function, and then protected member data, and then we'll write member functions and curly closing brace semicolon. So that indicates the termination point of definition of class. As you can see, there are three different member access specifiers, so that is private, public and protected. So these are the three different member access specifiers which are used in classes to access the data members at different levels. Now let us take an example. Here we'll write class is a keyword, then we are going to write account, that is user defined name, curly open brace, and then we are going to write int account number, char name, that is name of the account holder, and then we are going to write int balance amount, char account type, curly closing brace semicolon. So that indicates the termination point of this user defined data type, that is class. So all these data members comes under the private section. Even if I do not write the keyword private, by default all these four data members are set to be private. Now we'll continue with the function members. So that is, here we'll write public colon, then get data, then we are going to write display data. So these two are the member functions. Those two member functions operate on data members, and then write the closing curly brace and put semicolon, so that indicates the termination point of class definition. Now let us see an programming example so that illustrate the use of classes and object. For that I will take you to my laptop screen. Here you can see I have written a single line comment program to show the use of class and object. So now let us continue with the preprocessor directives, that is hash include iostream dot h hash include conio dot h. Next we will write here definition of a class. Here you can see class is a keyword whose color turn to white. Now we'll write name of the class as test curly open brace that indicates the body of the class. Here you can write private as a keyword, otherwise you can omit this one. By default it is private only. Next here I'll declare the data member like int a comma b, put semicolon, then I'll write public. Under this I'm going to write the name of the user defined function called get data curly open brace that indicates the beginning of definition of user defined function, and here I'm going to receive two numbers to perform addition of two numbers. Now we'll take scene in order to input the data, then curly closing brace. Again I'm going to write one more user defined function to display the data. So here I'm going to write display, then curly open brace. Here I'm going to perform the addition of two numbers. I want to display the result of the same. Here I'll write addition of two numbers and double less than symbol. Here I'm going to perform addition of those two numbers, a plus b, put semicolon, then curly closing brace, then put curly closing brace for class definition termination, and you need to put here semicolon compulsorily. Next here we are going to write the main function. Here please note that we always write a class definition first, then we are going to write main function. In C++ programming language we have to have at least one and at most one main program. Always execution of C++ program starts from main function only, and here it uses the bottom-up approach. Let me write test as a name of the class, and then I'm going to create the object. So here I'll write obj as object. It is of type test. So next I'll write obj dot. So dot is a member access specifier which is used to access the members of the class definition. So here I'm going to first access get data, and then with the help of object I will access the next member function, that is display. Then I'll write get ch curly closing brace. So here we are going to compile this particular program by pressing Alt F9. So now it is showing success. There is no error as such. Next we'll press Ctrl F9 to run the program. Now you can see it is asking enter two number for addition. Let me write, I'll write here 3. So that is initialized to variable a, and next I'm going to write one more number, that is 3, that is initialized to variable b. Now it should give me the result as 6. You can see once I press enter, so addition of two numbers is equal to 6. Now we'll continue with access specifiers. So C++ supports 3 different types of access specifiers. The first one is private, and the second one is public, and the third one is protected access specifiers. So let us continue with the first one. So that is private member access specifier. Members which are defined under private member access specifiers are limited to access within the class definition, and that can be operated upon only by the member functions belongs to that particular class. Now let us take an example. Here we can write private colon, then we'll declare two variables, that is int x and float Y. So both of these two are the data members which comes under the private section and which is accessible within the class definition. Now we'll continue with the public access specifier. So members which are defined within the public member access specifier can be accessible by any member function and any member function even outside the class definition also. Now let us take an example that depicts the use of public member access specifier. For that I will take you to my laptop screen. Here I have already written public in a single line comment. Now we are going to write the preprocessor directives hash include iostream .h hash include conio.h. Next we'll define a class. Let us name this one as box curly open brace, and here we are going to write the private data as int height, and in a public access specifier I'm going to write two more data members, that is int length and one more is int width. And here I'm going to write one function, that is set height. You can use any user defined function, and I'm going to declare one variable inside the parenthesis. Next here I'm going to initialize height equal to I, then curly closing brace. Next one more function I want to define, so here I'll write get underscore height. So one function is used to receive the value and the other one, that is get height, will display the value onto the console. Next curly open brace, and instead of void here we are going to write integer. We'll write return height, we want to return back. So next put curly closing brace, then terminate the function definition by putting semicolon. Once we define a class definition, we need to create void main function to create the object of this class. So let us write name of the class as box, then we are going to write object. Once we create an object, it is possible for us to access members of the class with a member access operator, that is dot operator. So let us write object dot, here I'll write length equal to some value, for example 10, and then I'll write object dot width is equal to 20. Then we'll be able to access the member function which is declared in a public section, right? Set height. Here I'm going to pass 30 to int I. Here you can clearly see that the data members which are under private, that is int height is private by default, these will be operated by the functions which are defined in a class definition. Now we'll print these values. So here I'll write object dot length, then cout. The next width I want to print object dot width. Next I'll write cout object dot, here I'm going to write the function, that is get height function, because we want to display the result onto the console. Then write get ch and curly closing brace. Now let us compile by pressing Ctrl F9. So there are errors, so correct it, then again go for pressing Ctrl Alt F9 to check the compile error. Now it is success, then press Ctrl F9. So here you can see 10, 20, 30. Next we'll continue with the third type of member access specifier, that is protected member access specifiers. The members which are declared under protected member access specifier can be accessed by the members of that particular class and the friends of the class, and also the member functions derived from this particular class. Now we'll continue with members of the class. In order to access each member of the class, we are going to use the operator called dot operator. It is called as member access operator. Now let us take syntax of accessing members of the class. First, here we are going to write class object dot operator we are going to use because it is member access operator. Then we are going to write member data, then put semicolon. Then one more syntax you can write in order to access the function. Here we'll write class object dot, that is member access operator. Then we are going to write function name, and inside the round braces we are going to write arguments. Now let us take an example to show how exactly we can access members of the class. For that, I will take you to again my laptop screen. Now you can see here I've already written in a single comment line, that is members of the class. So let us begin with the preprocessor directive, that is hash include iostream.h hash include conio.h. Then we'll define a class with a keyword class. I'll write here a rectangle, then curly open brace. Here I'm going to write the private data members as int L and one more private data member as int B. Then I'm going to write the public access specifier to declare the function. Here I'll write void, then get data, and one more function I'm going to declare here. Whenever we declare, we put semicolon. Then one more function we can write. Here we will write compute area and put semicolon. And if you want to define it, we have to remove this semicolon. Next we'll write void display. So all of these three are the functions that we are going to define. So let us define the first one. So curly open and closing brace. Within the body of this get data, we are going to receive the value of both L and B. So here we will use input output cascading. Here we will write enter the value of length and breadth, or you can say length and breadth. Next, take the values as L and B. Next, we want to compute the area. So what is the formula to find the area of the rectangle? So that is length into breadth. So here we have written void, so which is not going to return any value back. So here we are going to take one variable as int area, and we are going to initialize the calculated value to this particular variable. So that is L into B. Then I want to display the result. So here I'm going to use cout statement to display the result. Now the result is stored in the variable area. So in a double quotation mark, I'll write area of a rectangle is equal to, then using insertion operator, I'm going to type the variable as area. So this gives me the value stored in area. Now we need to terminate the class definition. So next we need to create object of this particular class by creating void main. Then we are going to use name of the class, that is rectangle, to create the object. Here you can write R, any valid identifier name you can use for writing object name. So rectangle R I have taken. So R is the object, rectangle is of its type. Next here I'll write R dot, first I want to access get data. So I'll use get underscore data because you need to input the data first, then I'll put semicolon. Next I want to call the next function compute. So R dot compute underscore area, put semicolon. Next we want to call display, that is final result is to be displayed onto the monitor. So here we'll write display, then we'll write get ch and put curly closing brace. Now compile by pressing Ctrl F9. There are errors, so just check it out. Here we can change this one as here we can write int area, again compile, check. Now we can compile and you can check it out. It is success. Now run the program. So now it is asking enter the length and breadth. Here we will use CLR SCR, then compile and run the program. Enter the value of length and breadth. So here I am going to enter 10 and 20. So now it is showing area of a rectangle is equal to 200. Let us study one more program to show the use of member access specifier using classes and objects. For that program, again I will take you to my laptop screen. Here you can see I have already written in a single line comment program to show the use of access specifier with classes and objects. So let us continue with the preprocessor directive hash include iostream .h, then hash include conio .h, then we will write here class as data, then curly open brace, then we are going to write the private members such as int day, then I'll write int month, int year, and then I'm going to write public member access specifier. Here we are going to define the member functions, that is void date, and inside the round braces I'm going to use 3 arguments. So that is int dd that represent day, comma int that represent month, then int yy that represent year, curly open brace, and here I'm going to initialize dd yy to day, month, year. So here we'll write day equal to dd because dd is initialized to day, then here I'll write month is equal to semicolon, then I'm going to write year equal to yy, put semicolon, and curly closing brace. So now here inside this I'm going to print the result. So in a double quotation mark I'll write day, then I'll write month, otherwise we'll write here day I want to display. So after displaying day, I want to display the month, then I'll write year and put semicolon. Here next I'm going to close this class definition. Next I'm going to write void main, and here I'm going to create object of this particular class called data. So I'll write data and then I'll write date 1 as the first object, next date 2 as the second object. So let me use the date 1 object first, date 1 dot date, because we want to access now function, that is date function, by passing 3 arguments. So now I'm going to pass the date. Today is 6 and the month is 7, and here year is 2020. So next put semicolon. Here I'm going to use date 2, that is second object, dot date is the function name, then I'm going to write tomorrow's date, that is 7, month is 7 and year is 2020, and then put semicolon. Now we'll write get ch curly closing brace. So here you can see always execution of C++ program starts from main function. So it is going to create 2 objects, date 1 and date 2. Date 1 dot date will get executed. The control will get transfers to void date, and it initializes 6/7/2020 to day, month, year, and after that it is going to print day, month, year. Again control comes back to main function and it executes date 2 dot date, and it passes 7/7/2020 to date function, and it is going to initialize to day, month and year, and again it is going to display the value stored in day, month, year. So now let us compile this by pressing Ctrl F9, and you can see here we have got some error. So let me remove one dot here, then again you can see it is success. Now press Ctrl F9 to run the program. Here you can see 20. We'll use CLR SCR because it is showing the results of the previous program. Then compile and run. Now you can see 6/7/2020 and after that 7/7/2020. That's all in this video. Thank you very much for watching this video. We will see you in the next video.